Have you ever imagined what the future of Korea will be like? What shocking changes are coming? Today, we're diving into the second part of our Korean Prophecies Told by Prophets series. Get ready for a fascinating journey into the secrets of 2030. In the first part, we explored mysterious stories that left us intrigued and eager for more. Now, let's discover predictions that promise to transform Korea in unimaginable ways. And the best of all? Let's do this together, binge-watching prophecies of the future. Imagine waking up in an entirely different world, where ancient traditions meet futuristic technologies. A world where the village well overflows again, signaling great changes. But these changes are not just physical, they touch the heart and soul of every Korean. Remember the story of the Doomsday Well? That legend that predicted calamities when the well overflowed. This story showed us the fragility of our lives and the importance of being prepared. We feel fear and uncertainty, but we also find hope in the words of the prophets. They not only predicted disasters, but also offered us solutions and paths to renewal. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. The changes that are coming are scary, yes. But they are also an opportunity for growth and transformation. Let's discover how we can prepare and adapt for a future that, although uncertain, is also full of possibilities. Imagine a Korea where cities are transformed, where new leaders emerge, and where the Korean people unite in search of a better future. Let's explore the predictions of masters like Choi Lloyd, who warned us about the proximity of great changes, and Won Hyo's secret book, which offers visions of a future full of challenges, but also of hope. These stories are more than just legends, they are a call to action. They remind us that even in times of uncertainty, we can find strength and guidance in the words of the prophets. And together, we can shape a better future. So get ready for another exciting journey. Sit back comfortably, open your mind and your heart, and let's unlock the secrets of 2030 together. This is the time to connect with our roots, understand the prophecies, and prepare for what is to come. Welcome to part 2 of our Korean Prophecies Told by Prophets series. Let's binge-watch these predictions and discover how we can turn fear into hope and uncertainty into action. Join me on this journey, and together we will explore the mysteries of the future. And that's not the only prediction. There are several theories about the end of the world. Have you ever heard of pandemics, earthquakes, nuclear wars? There's even a theory about a giant asteroid that could collide with Earth. One of the stars that could cause this is the planet Nibiru. This story begins at the end of the 19th century, when astronomers realized that Neptune was deviating from its orbit. They discovered that there was a huge planet beyond Pluto, which could be Nibiru, related to Neptune's orbit. Just imagine a giant planet approaching Earth. If Nibiru gets too close, it could cause earthquakes, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. This is something that scientists and even mystics have been talking about for a long time. Let's change the subject and talk about something that happened here on Earth. In a small village in South Korea, there is a well known as the Doomsday Well. Legend has it that a monk predicted that this well would never be and would bring peace to the village, but if it overflowed, great calamities would happen. In 1592, the well overflowed, and soon after, a Japanese invasion took place. And again in 1910, when Korea was occupied by Japan. These stories are scary and fascinating at the same time, aren't they? They make us think about how humanity has always tried to understand the future. And it's not just old stories. In the West, we have Nostradamus, a French prophet who did a lot of specialization. He wrote his prophecies in short poems, and some people believe he predicted events such as the French Revolution and even the 9/11 attacks. And there is also Baba Vanga, a Bulgarian mystic who made several surprising variations. She predicted the disintegration of the Soviet Union and the Chernobyl disaster. And she also talked about drastic climate change and the possibility of contact with extraterrestrials. These stories show us that, no matter where or when, people have always sought to understand what the future holds. And you, what do you think about this? Do they make sense to you? So can we learn something from them? Let me tell you one more story. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet was an American mystic who made a lot of difference while in a trance. He talked about the lost city of Atlantis and the geological changes that could alter the Earth. He predicted that parts of the east coast of the United States would be submerged and that much of Japan and Europe would sink into the sea. And we cannot forget Imam Mahdi in Shia Islam. According to belief, the Mahdi found justice and peace in the world before the Day of Judgment. Many Islamic traditions talk about the signs that will precede its arrival, such as major conflicts and natural disasters. Hey, wait there. Before I leave, I want to ask you a big favor. If you like these stories and want to continue exploring these incredible mysteries with me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click on the red button below. And of course, leave your like on this video. This helps me a lot to keep bringing you more fascinating content. Your subscription and like make all the difference and encourage me to create more videos like this. Together, we can discover much more about the prophecies and mysteries of the world. So, click the button to subscribe and give that powerful like. Let's grow this community and unlock these secrets together. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. These stories are like a big puzzle, each piece giving us a vision of what the future might bring. They remind us of the importance of being prepared and taking care of our planet. Now I want to know what you think about all this. Do these stories and prophecies make you reflect on the future? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion is very important to us. Continuing our journey through the world of prophecies, I want to tell you about a fascinating legend from Japan, linked to Mount Fuji. This glow is one of the country's most iconic symbols, and there is an ancient prophecy that says that when Mount Fuji becomes sovereign again, great changes will happen in Japan and the world. This prophecy is taken seriously by many Japanese, especially considering Mount Fuji's history of devastating eruptions. But it's not just volcanoes that intrigue us. Let's go back in time a little and talk about a mystical figure from 16th century England known as Mother Shipton. She is famous for her specifics, many of which were written in the form of rhymes. It preceded the Industrial Revolution and even the invention of cars and planes. One of his best-known rhymes says, "Cars without horses will run, and accidents will fill the world with pain." Impressive, right? It sounds like she was describing modern cars. Mother Shipton talked about major climate changes and natural disasters that would transform the Earth. These visions align with many other prophets and mystics, creating an interesting connection between different cultures and eras. Now, let's cross the ocean and talk about Edgar Cayce again. He is a fascinating example of how comprehensiveness can impact our lives. Cayce, the sleeping prophet made many changes about geological changes. He talked about the discovery of Atlantis and the great earthquakes that changed the face of the Earth. He also predicted that the east coast of the United States would be underwater, which is something many scientists today consider possible due to rising sea levels. And we can't forget the Korean legend of the Doomsday Pit. This well has an incredible story. According to legend, a previous monk said that if the well overflowed, great calamities would occur. And indeed, when it boiled over, Korea suffered devastating invasions and occupations. This legend reminds us of how prophecies can be linked to real events and how they can influence our opinions and actions. Speaking of influences, let's go back to the Middle East and Imam Mahdi's prophecy. For Shia Muslims, the Mahdi is the ultimate redeemer who brings justice and peace to the world. Before your arrival, many signs and disasters will occur, paving the way for a new beginning. This prophecy is full of hope and shows that even in times of great turmoil, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Now I want you to think about how these stories and prophecies connect to our lives today. We live in a world full of uncertainty, but also full of possibilities. Prophecies remind us that no matter what challenges we face, we can always find ways to overcome and prosper. They encourage us to care for our planet, promote peace, and work together for a better future. And you, how do these stories resonate with you? Do they make you reflect on the future? Do you believe we can learn something valuable from these prophecies? Share your opinions in the comments below. We love to know what you think. It all started in the reign of King Sejo, when a monk found this stone in a remote cave. He deciphered the inscriptions and discovered that they spoke of great future events. He took the stone to the king, which was confirmed by the prophecies. The inscriptions predicted invasions, occupations, and even the division of Korea. One of the most moving parts of the legend is the prediction of a great peacemaker, a figure who would bring peace and unity to Korea. These stories are truly breathtaking. And speaking of taking your breath away, let's go to another part of the world, India. There is a fascinating prophecy about Kalki, the 10th and final avatar of Vishnu. According to Hindu tradition, Kalki will appear on a white horse with a flaming sword to eradicate evil and restore justice in the world. It's a powerful image, isn't it? This prophecy speaks of a time of great turmoil and transformation, followed by a new era of peace and prosperity. As we travel through the world of prophecies, we cannot forget Mount Baekdu in North Korea. This heat is revered and feared. There is a prophecy that says that your sovereignty will signal great changes. The last major inheritance was more than 1,000 years ago, but scientists are monitoring it closely because they believe another one could occur soon. And speaking of volcanoes, let's go back to Japan with Mount Fuji. Fuji's last significant inheritance was in 1707, but it is still considered active. The prophecy says that when he comes into inheritance again, great changes will take place. This makes people think about how nature can influence our lives in unpredictable ways. Now, returning to the West, I want to tell you the incredible story of Gordon Michael Scallion. In the 1990s, he predicted that major geographic changes would happen due to natural disasters. Scallion created a map of the future that showed submerged continents and new continents emerging. He believed that these changes would be caused by the position of the Earth's axis, something that could result in earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. These differences seem like something out of a science fiction movie, but they remind us that the Earth is always in motion, and changes can happen at any time. And that's why we need to be prepared and take care of our planet. So, what do you think of all this? Do these stories move you? They show us that even in times of uncertainty, there is always a chance for renewal and hope. Humanity has always found ways to overcome challenges and find the light at the end of the tunnel. Share your opinions in the comments. We want to know what you think about these stories and prophecies. Do you believe them? Or do you think they are just myths that help us reflect on our actions? The 9 signs are events that, according to the Hopis, would mark the arrival of a new era. Some of these signs include the arrival of white men with guns, the construction of railroads that cross the country, and even the construction of a spider's webby in the sky, which many believe to be a reference to electrical power transmission lines. It is the internet. Another fascinating figure is that of Rasputin, the Russian mystic who became famous for his influence on the Russian imperial family. Rasputin also made several variations on the future of Russia and the world. One of his most famous reflections was on his own death. He predicted that if he was killed by nobles, the imperial family would not survive for more than 2 years. And indeed, after his death, a Russian revolution took place, leading to the fall of the Romanov dynasty. These stories show us how predictions and prophecies have always fascinated and influenced humanity. They remind us that, even in times of uncertainty, there is always something to learn and reflect on. Now, I want to tell you about a modern prophecy that is also very interesting. In 1994, a psychic named Jean Dixon made a prediction about the future of humanity. She predicted that at some point in the 21st century, there would be a great redeemer who would arise to unite humanity and bring about an era of peace. This figure would be a spiritual leader who would guide the world through difficult times and help solve many of the problems we face today. These variations may seem fanciful, but they offer us hope and encourage us to seek solutions to the challenges we face. They remind us of the importance of working together and looking out for each other. Returning to Korea, there is an interesting story about an oracle called Won Hyo's Secret Book. This book, written by Buddhist master Won Hyo, contains detailed information about the future of Korea. It was rediscovered during Park Chung-hee's regime and contains conclusions about the founding of the Joseon dynasty, the Japanese invasion, and the division of Korea. It also talks about the possible reunification of Korea and the rise of a just leader who would bring peace and prosperity.